Example 4. You can spend at most $10 on grapes and apples for fruit salad. Grapes cost $2.50 per pound and apples cost $1 per pound. Write and graph an inequality that represents the amounts of grapes and apples you can buy. Identify and interpret two solutions of the inequality. So very similar to the last one. This time we're dealing with grapes and apples. So I'm going to put my grapes on my x-axis, and I'm going to put my apples on my y-axis. And this time I'm going to keep the variables x and y just to do it a little differently and see what happens. So my grapes are represented by my x, my apples are represented by my y, and I know that my grapes are $2.50 per pound. So $2.50 x plus my apples are $1 per pound, so $1 y, and I can spend at most $10. So still less than or equal to 10 because I can't spend more than $10. So this would be my inequality. Now, keep in mind, like last time, that we're not going to be buying negative of fruits. So x still has to be greater than or equal to 0. Y still has to be greater than or equal to 0. So we're only dealing with the first quadrant of this graph because we can't buy negative produce. Now, just like last time, I think the easiest version here is going to be to solve for our x and y intercepts. If you want to find the x-intercept, you're going to substitute a 0 in for y. So we're going to have $2.50 x plus 1 times 0 is less than or equal to 10. Or because we're solving for an intercept here, we can switch this over to an equal sign. This is going to get me 2.50x equals 10. And then I'm going to divide by 2.5. I'm going to grab my calculator really quick and take 10 divided by 2.5, which is 4. So x equals 4, which gives me an intercept right there. Then I'm going to substitute 0 in for x to find my y-intercept. So 2.5 times 0 plus y equals 10. This is going to go to 0, so y equals 10, which is going to be enough information to graph my line. Now again, keep in mind it's either dashed or solid. In this case, because it says less than or equal to, we are going to do a solid line. And then we're also going to have a line right here and a line right here because we're keeping everything positive. Now, once again, I'm going to go test a point. I'm thinking that my realm of answers is probably in here. So why don't we just for fun test 5, 6 and see what happens. So x is 5, y is 6, so that's going to give me 2.5 times 5 plus 6 has to be less than or equal to 10. So 2.5 times 5 is 12.5 plus 6 is 18.5. And 18.5 is less than or equal to 10 is false, which tells me that my answer is not out here, which means my solution set is in here. Then it says identify and interpret two solutions of the inequality. Now again, keep in mind we're not doing fractions here because we're not buying half of the grapes or half of the apple. You can't cut an apple in half and leave the store. So I'm going to choose the 0.16, which means I could buy 1 grape or 1 bag of grapes and 6 apples and still be within my budget. I could also buy 1. So I could buy 3 grapes or 3 bags of grapes and 1 apple and still be within my budget. I could buy 4 grapes and 0 right here. 4 and 0. I could buy 3 and 2. I could buy 0 and 10 and still be within my budget. Anything either on those lines or in that box and still be within the $10 budget.